Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris are battling for the World Drivers' Championship in Formula One, and while that's super important and a great accomplishment, it does seem a little bit like McLaren management is neutering that experience of competition for the fans. So much so that I think it was motorsport.com. I can't remember who. Somebody wrote an article about the fact that the Drivers' Championship does seem to be a little bit boring to watch, but I actually kind of want to get away from that. That's an anomaly. We had Multi 21 with Mark Webber and Seb. We had the Battle of the Silver Arrows. We've Prost, Senna. We've had major battles before, and this is just what one team has decided to do to their drivers, and I think it has decreased the value a little bit of the sport. But I want to move into something else this week. I admittedly had a bit of a difficult time trying to figure out what to talk about, so I'm just going to, peek into a couple of stories that I found it kept me motivated to watch motorsports. I mean, as if I ever need to be motivated to watch motorsports. One is the fact that Sergio Perez, who is going to join Cadillac Formula One in 2026, is set to throw the first ceremonial pitch for the LA Dodgers. Now, that is, I think, incredibly American. I think they're going to get a lot of people in that stadium. I think it's going to be a really good thing for the sport. And heck, I mean, it's very cool for Sergio Perez, who I think got a rough deal being forced to leave Red Bull after his lackluster performance in a car that everybody knows is pretty bad. I mean, even if you look at the photograph here, you see the folks here in orange. This looks like it definitely looks like a racetrack because I'm seeing the asphalt there. But you see the guy with uniform on with the Lucha Libre mask, and you see all these fans over here to the right. You have to let personalities come out, and I think it's really good in such a global sport, even just to have a North American racing. I went to the Circuit of the Americas when Checo Perez was racing, and I have to tell you, the turnout from Mexicans was amazing, and everybody was in a good mood. And yeah, it actually had, a lucha libre match. I don't know what to call it, wrestling match. That's what we call it in the States. Going on as one of the side events at the show or at the race. I think it was really good. I'm glad to see that this is happening for Sergio Perez. I'm also glad to see that Valtteri Bottas has a second chance in Formula One, because let's not forget, when he left Formula One, he actually had some of the best stats on the grid. Let's move on really quick to Max Verstappen and his racing over at the Nürburgring. He's got his permit A in his pocket now, and he's got a good idea of what it would look like to race. Not a good idea. He has an idea of what it looked like to race a Porsche Cayman GT4 over at the Nürburgring. Now, Formula One can be kind of, especially these days, intensely clinical, intensely corporate. And, I feel a little bit bad for the drivers because they're forced to race in these parameters. They're forced to, kind of suppress their emotions. They're forced to be kind of these robots. And, to the point where the pit wall can, turn up and down the car, like power or change settings and stuff while they're driving. You have to listen to the teams and the driver's orders. Now, Max Verstappen in particular doesn't really have to worry about that because he's not really had another driver in the car next to him that can challenge him, or at least that the team would allow to challenge him, or even a car that could challenge the car that he was driving. But even for him, racing in Formula One with all the social media and stuff, it has to feel a little bit like he's getting away from the purity of driving. And these drivers are absolutely, some of the best drivers in the world. And I'm not saying that. Let's not forget the time that Lewis Hamilton drove a NASCAR, and he was looking really good. I remember in that footage, he did not want to get out of the car. He wanted to keep turning laps. And it's got to be, honestly, such a very cool feeling after such a focused and regulated series like Formula One to get out there into a car with a V8 manual transmission and just stir through the gears and just really have fun on a track. And I'm sure that the Lion Speed Porsche that Max Verstappen was driving had to be just an absolute blast, and it had to be kind of a return to basics for Max Verstappen, who said that he had a great time driving. He said, "I'm happy it all went smooth. I got my DMSB permit at Nordschleife. I really enjoyed myself, but that's always the case around here," he said on Saturday. It was good to drive stints in the race with traffic, both with faster cars and slower cars. There was also a code 60 race neutralization, double waved yellows, and a standard yellow flag. I drove in the wet, the dry, and in mixed conditions. I've gained experience in where the grip is and isn't, and completed a start procedure. It was really good to gain more experience on the circuit. This is a Formula One four-time world drivers champion, and he is still talking about learning the track and learning a new car, and that to me is awfully exciting. And I'm sure to him the freedom of driving a sports car around the track had to be great too. Now, let's move on one more to a video that was published about a month ago. This was on Red Bull Motorsports, and it's titled F1 Driver versus Rally Car. How fast can you go in only 5 laps? Now, I know that Liam Lawson, when he did his stint with Red Bull, caught some flack for not driving the car very well. But if you get a chance, as soon as this video is done, go over to the Red Bull Motorsports channel and watch this video and see just how fast Liam Lawson drives this rally car. I am not going to ruin the ending for you, but I will say that when people say Formula One drivers are some of the best drivers in the world, I think that this video or videos like it kind of substantiates those claims. I'm not going to ruin it for you. I was going to tell you just a little bit of what I saw, but I trust that you're going to go over there and find out for yourself. 2 more things I want to mention. Chris Harris and Alex Brundle. They have a video out where they take on the 6 hours of Spa in a vintage Ford race car, the GT40. The cinematography was amazing. The storytelling was amazing. And having been privileged to race a couple cars at racetracks, do the wheel-to-wheel, I've got to say they really captured that feeling that you get when you're getting ready to take a race car out on the track. I hope to have that feeling again soon, and it's a thing of beauty to watch. And just watching people racing in vintage race cars is a real treat. It's amazing to kind of take a look back in time and see what kind of safety equipment there wasn't, and the fact that these folks are still hustling these cars. It doesn't matter the price, it doesn't matter the safety, and it really makes you think, I really need to get out on track. I mean, if these guys can do it with their heads popping up over the windshield, then me and my modern brakes and tires and safety harness really ought to be able to get out there and do it. So one more topic I'm going to cover is the Goodwood revival. And if you want to see really good vintage racing, look no further than Goodwood. I mean, yeah, you can plug in vintage racing into your YouTube, and a lot of stuff is going to come up, but I will almost guarantee that Goodwood Road Racing will come up as well. I'm going to show you just a little clip of what I'm talking about, and I hope that whets your appetite to go over and watch a little bit of vintage racing. Old athletes, 50 years later, no, they just don't have the same performance that they did back in the day. So you're never going to be able to see Mike Tyson punch as hard as he did in the late 80s and early 90s. But if you go and watch vintage racing, you absolutely can see these old Jaguars, these old Ford Cortinas, these old Lotuses. You can see them running how they did in their heyday because they're machines. They can be refurbished and they rock. I've been Dalton. This has been the Petrolist, and you've been great. Thanks for watching. I'll see you after next week's Formula One race. I'm out.